Hello everybody, I'm Dupree and welcome back to another episode of Rust News. So the reason I haven't been uploading any Rust videos for the last few months is because I've just lost interest for the game. It just got so repetitive and they stopped updating the game for a while. So I was for a long time waiting for a big update to add more cool stuff to the game, but it never came. The reason it's because they aren't planning on updating the game anymore. They're planning to remake the game from scratch, and that's what they've been doing for the last few months. All this work can be found on the experimental branch, and if you wanted to check it out for yourself, you simply start Rust through your Steam library, then you choose Try Experimental. So they have changed and added a lot of things in the game, so I thought that I would just go through a lot of the stuff that they've added and changed, as well as things that they're planning to change on the experimental branch. They've revamped the graphics, making the game look a lot better. Different times of the day looks different from each other, leaving the game with a more realistic look overall. They've also added auroras, aka northern lights, to the sky that sometimes can appear. And they've made new animations, models, and added swimming. They've made new models for the animals, such as wolves, bears, deer, pigs, and rabbits. And they've added new grass that is both better looking and runs much better. They've added caves throughout the randomly generated map. They've also seemed to have added bats flying around in them. They've added new biomes such as deserts, plains, different kinds of forests, and a biome called the Northern Beach, which is my favorite. It just looks so freaking cool with all the cliffs and caves on the beach. They've also changed how building works. When you place your foundations, it will for a starter only be a frame. You will then have to use a hammer on it to build it into the foundation you want for your base. You will not either have to use pillars, and you can place your walls and building components much more freely now, making the building much more customizable and unique. And they've added improved metabolism, adding a heart rate that will go up depending on what you do. When the heart rate goes up, you will start consuming more calories, leaving you hungry and thirsty. And unless you eat, you will slowly start starving to death. Along with this, you can also start bleeding until you eventually die. They've also made bullets and arrows into projectiles, which makes it possible for them to get affected by wind and gravity, causing them to fall towards the ground over time instead of going straight. It's also possible to pick up arrows back up after firing them so that you can use them again. And they've finally made it possible to eat other players after killing them, as well as loot sleeping players. They've also started working on adding more melee weapons to the game with a more improvised / homemade look to them, such as this homemade axe. Along with this, they're also working on adding fishing to the game using this awesome fishing rod. They have also finally started working on more character customization and variation, leaving us with photos of this awesome Asian guy with a mohawk and one eye, and this creepy looking grey dude with a cool beard. And finally, they have also started working on some really cool concepts, such as this AK47, these slingshots, these small traps, as well as these cool huts, and this sign saying dick finger. But of course, the player would be able to write anything he or she would want. So the conclusion is that Rust is looking more promising than ever, and they're getting really close to a playable experimental branch. And remember, if you want to take a look at all this yourself, you can either visit the Rust website for all the dev blogs and their Trello page for all the concept art, and if you want to play on the experimental branch, you can join it by launching Rust through Steam, and when a box pops up, you simply click on Try Experimental. Also, if you liked the video, then please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next Rust video.